Hello everybody, this is Shady here, and you know what I have not done in a very long time, and that is a Shady's Top 5. So, I'm sure anyone who's been subscribed to this channel has maybe watched these videos. One of the first videos I did on my channel was Top 5 games to add to your PS5 collection. I know, it really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But yeah, essentially with these videos, what I do is I just take 5 random games from like an older system, typically, and for the most part, these are going to be like lesser known or forgotten games that I basically just want to, put the word out for and hopefully get you guys to buy them, try them out and add them to your collection. Yeah, so just like I said, we are going to do a PS3 one again. And starting things off, I'm going to talk about a game I don't think anyone remembers, and that is John Woo's Stranglehold. And what is John Woo's Stranglehold? So this is basically just Max Payne starring Chow Yun-fat from Hard Boiled and other John Woo flicks. Obviously, if you guys don't know who John Woo is, he was this Chinese director or Hong Kong director, I guess. I'm not quite sure where he's from. But yeah, he did all of these like amazing movies in China, like I said, Hard Boiled, for example, where it just involves like loads of people shooting guns, just like a spaghetti western on crack, essentially. Really awesome movies. And obviously, he's actually done some Hollywood movies too. If you guys have seen Hard Target, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, that is actually a John Woo movie. I believe Jean-Claude Van Damme actually was a fan of his, so he brought him over here to do, or he wanted him to direct a movie for him. He also did Mission Impossible 2, which in my opinion is the best Mission Impossible easily. Okay, anyway, I've talked enough about John Woo. Check him out, he is an awesome director. But yeah, so for some reason, I guess he presents this game. I don't know what exactly he did. Maybe just put his name on it, I don't know. Maybe he came up with the story. But essentially, yeah, we are playing with Chow Yun-fat. Yeah, he's a detective. And yeah, I'll just show the back there. So yeah, he's basically going to be taking on a load of criminals, and you just have to shoot a shitload of people. Yeah, and it basically just works like Max Payne. Basically, whenever you do any sort of slide move or blah, blah, you slow down time. So essentially the whole point is, you got bullets going off, and it's all about doing your slide moves, using your slow down to try to pick off enemies one by one. Really awesome type of game. It really is a shame that this type of shooter isn't a thing anymore. Apparently Max Payne is being rebooted or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. Obviously Remedy have had a good amount of success with Control, and now Alan Wake 2 apparently has done quite well. So yeah, hopefully it's not too long before we get a Max Payne 4 or something. But yeah, just a solid type of shooter. Obviously this originally came out on Xbox 360, and then obviously a year later PS3 came out, and this was like one of the early titles. It may have been a launch title in some of the regions, but it was basically launch window is the best way to describe it. Yeah, so I think a lot of people just completely forget it's on PS3. And yeah, it's not actually that bad a port either. Notoriously, a lot of the ports were quite terrible in comparison to Xbox 360. This one isn't too bad, not perfect, but still a really solid way to play the game. Obviously, yeah, one of the key differences is, yeah, you will need to install and blah blah blah, all that. And obviously, yeah, being an early PS3 title, there won't be any trophies, unfortunately, if you care about that. But yeah, great game. And obviously, that's only the first one on the list. Next up, we're going to talk about a superhero game. One of probably the best superhero games ever made, and that is Batman Arkham Asylum. That's my Batman voice. Yeah, this is just an amazing freaking game. I remember buying this thing day one, man. It's just like, if you want a game that makes you feel like Batman, this is bloody it. Obviously, I'm sure people know this, but Arkham Asylum is one of the famous graphic novel done by Grant Morrison. Really surrealist kind of art design and everything. Yeah, it's really cool. So basically, the basic plot is that Batman has to go into Arkham Asylum, and he has to sort of face his fears with all these criminals. There's been like a breakout led by the Joker, and he has to basically sort shit out. Obviously, the comic kind of goes more into the Arkham family, and there's a lot of, they're showing how all the villains kind of represent different aspects of Batman and his fears and blah, blah, blah. But this game, it's more just like, you're going in there, you're taking out these different enemies one on one. There's a lot of great fan service and blah, blah, blah. And what I really like about this game is, yeah, it just makes you feel like Batman. The combat system is really cool. It kind of almost feels like an evolution of the Assassin's Creed 1 sort of battle system. I'm sure if you've played Spider-Man 1 and 2, it's literally the same battle system. Obviously that has a slightly different move because it's Spider-Man. And yeah, you can kind of stealth around as well and take down enemies one at a time. There's like enemies with guns that you have to do that with. And then there's other bits that you just fight normally. And yeah, just amazing, memorable boss battles as well. I personally, I love the sequel more personally because it puts you in that open world and lets you explore Gotham and do more secret stuff and all that. But this one is great because it's like confined in one location. And yeah, you know, it just allows it to be much more story driven and all that. Yeah, it's just an amazing freaking game, man. Yeah, even if you're not a Batman fan, I think you should pick this one up. They did do the Return to Arkham games, which is all three. But I think it's... Or was it just the first two games? I can't remember. They may have not put Arkham Origins in there. I really can't remember. But yeah, that version kind of changed the lighting and the visuals and everything. I don't quite like that one. I think it takes away from the atmosphere. This one looks dark and much more moody. Yeah, again, like the other one, this is also available on 360 as well. And yeah, just a solid freaking game. Pick it up. Yeah, and it's dirt cheap, so come on. Next up, this is a game I guarantee no one probably remembers besides me, and that is Killer is Dead. So, Killer is Dead. This is, as you can see, a game done by Grasshopper Manufacturer. Obviously, that's Suda51's development studio. He obviously had something to do with this. He was, I can't remember if he was director or just on the project. But yeah, as you can see, look at that art style, it's just awesome. So yeah, this, we're playing as, obviously, sorry, I should probably explain, Suda51 did like Killer 7, the No More Heroes series, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, as you can see, this has a very similar look to like No More Heroes, and that, but it has that cool cel-shaded anime style. So yeah, we're playing as this this assassin guy basically, and he has to take out all these other, what are they again? I can't remember if they're like the big killers in the world or something. But yeah, he has to basically take out all these enemies one by one. He's just a dude in a suit with a katana and a transforming robot arm that shoots little BB guns, little BBs essentially. It's a very strange game. It just looks awesome. And then like between levels, there's also this really weird mini game where you're taking these beautiful women out on dates and you have to stare at their cleavage without them noticing. Very strange. Obviously, it's kind of meant to have like a James Bond kind of anime James Bond feel to it or something. Really cool game. There's like this whole really cool level where you're on like the moon and everything. And from what I remember, it's just him in his normal thing, but he just has like a space hat on. It's just so funny. But yeah, really cool game. Fun enough combat system, everything. I think this should also be available on 360 as well. I actually bought like the deluxe edition of this game day one. Like I remember watching, I think it was at like an E3. What year was this out again? You think I'd look at that before, in 2013 it says. Yeah, I think it might have been 2012 or something, E3. I remember watching the gameplay of this and yeah, just being pretty much sold straight away. Yeah, just really cool, awesome game. Obviously, that mini game with the ladies actually does serve a purpose because you do unlock like upgrades for your weapons and stuff. Yeah, it's just a solid little hack slash game. You know, Suda51 is a little bit more style over substance, but that style is awesome, so it doesn't matter in my opinion. And yeah, yeah, definitely check this out anyway. I'm not sure about backwards compatibility on 360 or not, but I mean, we're talking about PS3 here. But yeah, get it, it's awesome. Next up, we're going to be talking about a fighting game. But this is a little bit of a weird one. So, this is Tekken Hybrid. So, what the hell is Tekken Hybrid? So, this is really friggin' weird. So, essentially, they decided to do a HD remaster of the first Tekken Tag Tournament, PS2 game. And then also add Tekken Blood Vengeance, which was a movie they did. And they added a 3D version of it because the PS3 was actually a 3D Blu-ray player because obviously Sony were pushing 3D, so they gave the PS3 those 3D compatibilities to go alongside their 3D TV sets. And then it also had a demo for Tekken Tag 2 as well, where you just got to play as a couple of characters. So yeah, it's a very, very weird release. So I guess, yeah, they knew that just having Tekken HD on its own wasn't going to cut it. So yeah, they added the movie and the demo. Very strange release, but really cool, because Tekken Tag 2 Tekken Tag is an amazing game. And yeah, only on PlayStation. I really think no one probably remembers this release besides me. Like, well, I didn't even hear about this release. I just remember, because obviously I would like routinely go into these, into game stores. I think this was at a place called Game Station, which is closed now. That was one we had in the UK alongside Game. They were awesome because the people there seemed to know a little bit more, seemed less corporate, more kind of cool. And I've actually heard stories from other UK YouTubers who's sort of explained this, who've worked there, who've kind of said, yeah, that was kind of the whole thing. It was very family vibe there. That's besides the point. But yeah, I remember going in there and then just randomly seeing this. This was a bit cheaper. I think it was either 25 or 30, because yeah, this was the cool thing back then. Remasters actually used to be cheaper than your regular retail games. Like, I remember most of them would be 25 to 30. And yeah, it would depend how many games they contained. Yeah, and that was awesome. So yeah, yeah, it was cheaper than your regular retail game, and it included a game, a movie, and a demo. So pretty awesome. I don't know if you could have played the demo otherwise though. But yeah, it's very odd. The movie isn't exactly amazing or anything. It's essentially about, you know, Ninshayu and the robot girl. I can't remember her name. Yeah, she's basically Boskonovich's daughter or something, isn't she? Or he basically created a robot daughter or something. I think she was one of the new characters in, she either was introduced in 6, I think, or something. I can't remember. I think maybe she was introduced in 6, but yeah. Very weird release. I don't even know if you can get the movie separately. You probably can, but yeah. One to check out. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. Tekken Tag Tournament is also available on PS2. But if you want to play a HD version of it, you may as well pick this up. Yeah, and finally, I want to talk about an RPG in one of my favorite series of all time, in one of my favorite series of all time. One that I think, yeah, kind of is just not talked about enough, in my opinion. And that is Final Fantasy 13-2. The reason I'm talking about this one in particular is because, yeah, I think the thing with this game, yeah, after 13 released, 13 was very similar to like Final Fantasy 16. It was kind of the divisive game in the series that a lot of people just kind of, you know, because it was very linear, very story focused, blah, blah. People just kind of checked out, you know, I love the game myself. It's actually one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. But yeah, a lot of people aren't happy with it. So I feel like, yeah, not very many people kind of probably jumped onto the sequel. And yeah, and also being a Final Fantasy sequel, which is kind of a rare thing. I think this is only the second sequel, right? Maybe third or something at the time. Yeah, because obviously they did it with 10-2. I think 12 sequel, and then it was this or something. So yeah, there's kind of a little bit of a stigma on it because of that. But yeah, it's really amazing because it kind of, it does fix a lot of the issues that I think people had with that original version, with the linearity. Because obviously in 13, it's very linear until you get to like, like quite close to the end of the game. Then you kind of enter Grand Pulse and it's this huge kind of open expanse. Whereas this one kind of does kind of like what 10-2 does in a way, where it just turns the game into more of an open-ended game. You can go to all the different towns. You have, there's this whole like time mechanic involved in the game, where you travel to different places and times. So yeah, to get into the story though, this is obviously, we are actually playing as Sarah, who's obviously Lightning's sister, and another character called Noel. They're kind of teaming up. They're having to figure out, there's kind of these multiple timelines, and there's a character called Caius who's kind of traveling through time. It's about trying to sort things out there. And you've got Lightning kind of guiding you through things. She basically sends Noel to protect her sister and help her kind of, you know, save the world, essentially. You know, it's an RPG plot. But yeah, what I really like about this one is there's a lot more kind of open areas, and you can travel, like, for example, we start off in New Bodom, which we only kind of saw in cutscenes, and there's a little bit with snow in 13 where you just walk up. but we actually get to it's like a full proper town we can explore, and there's actual towns in these areas. There's one giant one that you go to later on in the game, and like I said, then you also have the time mechanic. So most of the places will have a present, past, and future version, and like they will change. So like one area becomes like a completely icy area at one point, and then yeah, it's pretty much like that. And then there's another really awesome aspect about this. Obviously, you still have the paradigm shift system from 13, where you can change between the different classes, and then obviously you only have 2 party members, but then the third slot is taken up by a monster. So it's got kind of a gachapon sort of feel to it in a way, where you're collecting monsters. So when you defeat monsters in battle, you have a chance, or there is a percentage chance, depending on which ones, that they'll drop their crystal, which then allows you to summon them in battle and make them a third party member. And then each one will take on a different one of the, I think it's 6 roles. So like, was it Commander, Ravager, Sentinel, Synergist, Saboteur, and there's another one. Yeah, but pretty much Medic, that's the other one. Yeah, so they take up one of those roles in your party, and then obviously you can have up to 3 or I think 6 different ones depending on the paradigms sort of thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's really cool. And then they have their own version of the Castrium system, just like in 13. But you do also have traditional levels, I think, as well, from what I remember. And yeah, it's just a really, really awesome game. I think it's definitely one worth playing. Obviously, yeah, it is a continuation of 13. So yeah, you will probably need to, play the first game before playing this one. But yeah, it's still a great game. Another thing, it has like multiple endings and like funny joke endings and everything. But overall, I think it's an amazing game. One you shouldn't sleep on, just like all 5 of these games. And yeah, now that I'm finished explaining, that is it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you did, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. If you do, I am just a hobbyist doing this for fun. But every sort of subscriber and like just kind of gives me more reason to continue, and I will still upload regardless of how many people I have, but it feels nice, to get the subscriber count up there. Anyway, I'll shut up about all that YouTube stuff. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.